Bitcoin and Ethereum are looking really good. So we are going to be covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, and we'll cover Litecoin because Litecoin's cooking finally. Right now, guys, on my screen, I have the weekly Bitcoin chart up, and I've been using this high time frame, the weekly and the 3-day, to kind of find my key levels of interest for where I thought this next leg was going to generate from. And so if you've been following me for a while, basically when we got back from Dubai, we had that SFP of all-time high, and then I'd marked out this 3-day order block here. There's very clean SR level at about 58K. And my two scenarios were very simple. I said I'm going to be bullish here at 58K. And if we lose that level, I'm looking lower. I'm looking at, kind of 50 to 52K. And that was just kind of the high time frame plan. And for those of you guys that watch me and have been watching me for a long time, my first thing that I do when I'm trying to, analyze the markets is I find what are my key levels of interest where I think price might have a reaction. Because that's where I want to do business. I want to do business at support and resistance, and that's when I zoom into the low time frame and I'm looking for those order blocks, I'm looking for those patterns, whatever you want to call it, at those levels to get in line with the trend, and then obviously to refine an entry and a risk placement. And so we ended up having the low form right at that 58K level that I'd marked out. We came right into it. We spent a couple days down there. We went sideways. We had some choppiness, and now we are finally pushing away. We've made a new all-time high. We have closed above the high of that swing failure pattern candle. All things considered, I'm relatively bullish here, and I think for good reason. What I'm looking for on Bitcoin now is, are we going to get some massive expansion from here? Or are we going to have a shakeout to kind of fuck over people who are piling in longs right at all-time high? Maybe they missed 58K and now they're longing $10,000 higher, which is typical for Twitter, and kind of make a plan there. So key levels are here. Hopefully they make sense to you guys. Right here, we have a fresh 3-day order block. So this 3-day order block spans from about 60K to 63.5. I know that's a large area and price. You can enter based on the 3-day, or you have that as an area where you're bullish. And then when price comes down there, if it does, we will be looking for reasons to get into some longs, because potentially we might see some sort of shakeout or wipeout of some people who got in late. That's your retest, right? When people are getting wiped out on a pullback because they longed late, they're getting liquidated. The savvy trader, right? The smart money, that's when you're looking for your entry. You're not chasing the green candle, you're waiting for that pullback. And sometimes that's hard. Price is at 68K right now, and you might be like, well, everyone on Twitter says we're going to 75 or to 80. So I'm just gonna long right now. And then what will probably happen is we'll probably see a pullback, to maybe like the low to mid 60s, and then we'll see that next leg up. And what happens is all those people who long the top, they get caught, they get stuck underwater, they ended up puking into the bids of the smart money who are waiting lower, and then you get that next leg. So when I look at Bitcoin right now, that's the most obvious scenario that I see playing out. Marking out this level here, rules of the order block, right? Down candle before the up move, throughout market structure, we're near high time frame level, that being the old all-time high. Any sort of pullback into this 62K area is an area where if it happens, I'm looking to be a bull there. It might not happen. The exact same logic was what I had here. I said I'm gonna look to be a bull at 58, and if that fails, I'm looking to be a bull here. My bias was still to the upside. It doesn't mean you can't short on the way down and short lower time frame pullbacks, but my high time frame thesis is we're in an uptrend. So that is my high time frame trend that I'm focusing on, and I'm looking for low time frame confirmation that at my previous SR levels that the bulls are still kind of in charge, and we're gonna see that bullish continuation, right? In a big uptrend, there's your key level. You have this period that is a downtrend where it doesn't mean you can't short here, but when we get to that high time frame support, I'm looking for reasons to get long in anticipation of a continuation of the high time frame trend. And a perfect example of what I just explained here is what happened on Ethereum. So those of you that have been following my Ethereum analysis, we had a very similar setup here. I said, okay, I'm looking to be bullish. I had another level marked, I think lower, like here at 36 or something. But I said, I'm looking for us to either break out and retest and then move, or I'm waiting for a deeper pull back, maybe a run of this level, and then a move up. And what you'll see happened on Ethereum, and I still got the squiggly on here, is we had that initial breakout. How many people do you think long this and then got shook out on this? right? Personally, I was long Ethereum from lower. When I saw this breakout, I didn't chase. I waited and I said, okay, well, if this breakout is legit, what am I doing? I'm marking out the order block. We're at our key high time frame level being previous all-time high, and I'm gonna wait. There was the break in market structure. There was the move away. A bunch of people long this breakout. I'm waiting here. Right back into my order block, right back where my plan was to get in here, and now I'm long. And this is the breakout that I think takes us to 5K. Whereas most people, I think once this level broke, they're just thinking we go directly to 5K. The market tries to make it as difficult as possible for you generally to get on board. There's always going to be pullbacks in the uptrend. You're going to get fake outs of levels. You're going to get all sorts of shit. And the way that I find to kind of improve is to have that mindset being like, okay, we just broke previous all-time high. What's the likelihood that we just put in a green dildo to the next key level? Possible, but much more likely that we probably pull back, get some people out of their longs, and then load up here for that other leg. So if you've been following the streams, if you've been following my tweets, this pullback play we nailed, and we had the squiggly line there, and it played out about as clean as you can get, right? Break above 43.70. There's your pullback, that's your entry, and now it looks like Ethereum wants to go to 5K and to sniff away at this point. So pretty happy with both the analysis on Bitcoin, catching the low here at 58, and then now on Bitcoin, I'm going to be looking for some sort of pullback towards previous all-time high to get long if it gives me one. It doesn't always have to give you that setup. And Ethereum, I'm sitting in a comfy long from this pullback around 43.70, and my target remains 5K for now. So I'm pretty happy with how things have gone. I think the trades are looking good that I'm in. Alts are being relatively resilient. Some of them are suffering for sure, but you do have to remember, if Bitcoin's going to put in a big 10-15% candle one day, looking at your alt BTC pairs and making sure that those are kind of maintaining their uptrend, because if your alt BTC pair looks like shit and Bitcoin puts in a big green candle, your alt USD position, if you have one, or if you're longing an alt versus USD position, it's going to underperform. So I'm bullish across the board. If a pullback comes, those are buying opportunities in my opinion. We just made a new all-time high, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are going to start FOMOing into longs, probably on leverage at this point. And a good easy thing to watch here now is, okay, we've got this previous high that we just broke. This becomes a key level. If we move like this back below this level, that could give you a low time frame short opportunity, or at the very least it can give you a clue that we're probably going to get that order block retest that I marked out. And then this is where you want to long, right? Dumb money is the one longing this breakout, in my opinion. You want to be smart money. So that's kind of my plan going into this week for Bitcoin. If we get a pullback into that 60 to 62K area, that bullish order block I talked about here, or even just a pullback towards the previous all-time high and then show some bullishness, that's where I want to add to my longs. And then on Ethereum, we got the pullback and retest of all-time high. I think this thing continues to push higher. Dips are for buying. And FBTC, if we look at that, right, it's kind of following the plan that we had talked about in the last video, right? I said we're in resistance here. I think if we can push up here, I think the next move is going to be the one that breaks us to the upside. So assuming that this now becomes kind of an SR flip here on FBTC, and we can see us put in a higher low, maybe it's a little lower, but a higher low here, I think we're going to see that, you know, potential breakout that we've been waiting for towards 0.1 on FBTC, which means we might see Ethereum lead the rally depending on what Bitcoin wants to do. But I'm bullish on both of those assets, and I'm also bullish on Litecoin. It's been a long time coming, but Litecoin is finally starting to move. How do we know if this is just another one of these moves that completely fully retrace? We don't. But every time I see a move like this, I want to look for buying opportunities. When you see a low get broken, like here, and then reclaimed, which it's in the process of doing, this gives you a very good risk-defined setup. Huge downtrend, ran a low. Hopefully you're going to reclaim that low, and if that happens, we should see LTC USD outperform Bitcoin USD, and we've kind of seen that over the last 2 days. Big divergence here. If you're a divergence trader, there's a huge high time frame weekly divergence that's been built on LTC BTC, and this thing looks like it's just been sold to shit. So if this thing can finally get its shit together, hold above this low, and put in a nice up candle, I do think we'll see a nice rally on LTC USD. I shared this chart a while ago. Everyone was asking me, why are you still looking at LTC? It's because it's like going back to like an ex-girlfriend. Like, you know you shouldn't, you know they've hurt you in the past, but you don't give a shit. Sex was too good or something, or except in this case, the sex was awful. We didn't even have sex, but you just keep going back for some reason anyway. I saw LTC, BTC putting in that big divergence, reclaiming that low, right? Where it went down, got back above, and then we were coming into a high time frame order block here after starting to put in some bullish market structure. I marked this level out. We had a nice sweep within the demand zone, and to me the 286 was the clearest target. And as LTC BTC has pumped, you've now seen LTC USD pump, and as you can see, relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is outperforming both. So bullish on this as well. Looks like we're making another higher high across those three pairs. I'm in longs or looking to get long, and I'm bullish on them for those reasons. So that's probably my fastest overview of what I think about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and LSD, and LSD, and LSD, and LSD, and LSD, and LSD. Did I say LSD instead of LTC? That's my bad, guys. Clearly got drugs on the mind.